Hey y'all, did you really think that I was not going to talk about the Nottoway Plantation in White Castle, Louisiana? The grand old mansion that was built in 1859 caught fire and suffered some serious damage on May the 15th, 2025. Y'all, we are talking about that on today. Hello riders, hello, how are you, and welcome to my channel. This is Lady Vasori, and let's get ready for the ride. Y'all don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Welcome back to my channel, y'all. We are talking about Nottoway Plantation on today. Come on in here. We got a lot to talk about and to cover on this heavy day. I feel as though it's more of a releasal, but we're going to talk about it. And first, we're going to get into the information that I found about Nottoway Plantation. I know a lot of folks are talking about this news of how this home or this home in the antebellum has burned to the ground. Alexa, volume down one. And we're going to talk about what that means, not just as a loss of a building but I think it's more of a spiritual event because places like Nottoway carry a lot of energy, y'all. It carries the weight of history, pain, resilience, magic, root work, healing, especially for us who walk the path of hoodoo and root work. Okay? So, investigators, they are talking about the fire started about in the second level of this particular White Castle. Well, it's in White Castle, but this particular plantation right here in the background, this is the fire and how it looked on fire. This is an actual photo that I got off the internet, and I was like, I need to make this a background picture because it is so telling about the energy behind it, the tragedy that has touched this particular land. Also, I found out that back in 2016, there was a smaller fire in one of the outbuildings. Thankfully, that fire, well, not thankfully, because I wish the motherfucker would have burnt all the way down then and hundreds of years ago. But that fire didn't spread. And through the years, the plantation has faced storms, floods, and the slow wear of time. Y'all know these types of homes aren't made, they're sturdy. Old homes are sturdy, but fires and electrical, maybe that's what it was, but I think it was within spirit myself. Each event left its mark on this particular plantation home. But it also stirred the spirits tied to that place, y'all. I believe Oya and Shango, if I had Orisha power, those two right there coming to mind for me. But this latest fire, though, this one right here, is powerful. Let's say this: when fire touches a place like Nottoway, it's not just destruction, it's transformation, y'all. Fire cleanses, it frees trapped energy, and it calls us to remember. Okay? Now, y'all know Nottoway was, if you don't know, I'm going to tell you guys about it. Nottoway was one of the largest antebellum plantations in the South. I'm going to let that sink in. One of the largest antebellum plantations in the South. And if you guys ever hear that word antebellum, you know that is some slavery there. It was some slave masters. It was some type of slavery in the antebellum. They prettied up the word for you. But It was a sugarcane plantation, and sugarcane work was some of the hardest, most brutal labor that you can imagine, y'all. Hundreds of enslaved black men, women, and children lived and worked here, and their sweat and blood built that wealth, built this. Okay? But behind those grand white columns that you guys can see were stories of strength, resistance, and magic. So let me tell y'all about some of the key ancestors that I've learned about whose spirits still walk that land. This is story time. We're about to get into it. Now, there was Sarah the healer and midwife. Sarah represents the many black women who use their knowledge of herbs. Used their knowledge of roots and spiritual work to heal their people. She was a midwife, a secret root worker, a spiritual protector as well, and she worked quietly, often hiding her magic from the slave masters. But her power was very, very real, y'all. Women like Sarah kept the community alive through their medicine and as well as their prayers. I also did more digging and found out about Elijah, the field worker and secret keeper. Now, Elijah worked the sugarcane fields from dusk to dawn. But he was more than a laborer. He was a keeper of stories, a carver of secret symbols in the trees and around the buildings of this plantation house. And these carvings were root work signs meant to protect, to resist, and to hold on to hope. Now, Elijah's strength wasn't just physical, it was spiritual as well. They also talk about Aunt Lucy. Aunt Lucy, the cook and the storyteller. Now, Aunt Lucy, the kitchen was her sacred space, and Aunt Lucy was the heart of it. She was the head cook. She cooked the meals for the family and the enslaved community, but she also passed down folk tales, prayers, and hoodoo knowledge as well. And she was a keeper of culture, a guardian of ancestral wisdom. They also had Old Joe. Now, Old Joe was the blacksmith and craftsman. Blacksmiths like Old Joe were very vital to this type of plantation home. They made tools, they fixed the wagons, and sometimes they forged charms and protective objects. Old Joe's work was skilled and respected around the area. His hands crafted both the physical and spiritual tools of survival. Now, let me get real with y'all about something real deep, a little deeper. In hoodoo, we know that spirits aren't just passive, they're powerful, and they demand respect. The ancestors who lived and died at Nottoway endured unspeakable pain, injustice, and suffering. Their stories were buried under the white columns, their voices silenced for generations until now. Okay? Sometimes when that pain is too much, y'all, the spirits get restless. They can show their anger in many, many ways, through storms, through sickness, or even fire. Some root workers believe that the fire at Nottoway wasn't just an accident. I'm one of them. It might have been the ancestors themselves lighting the match in spiritual protest, saying to people, enough is enough. We done had enough. Y'all too, fire is a purifier and a messenger. The message was sent. It was sent. You know, the spirits might have been saying or sending a message, burning away all the lies, burning away their silence and the false glory of this plantation. We know they turned it into like a resort or something like that, like a happy place. It's a happy place, but them souls, they still wandering around. They're not happy. That's why it's burnt down. It's sending a message, y'all. They're demanding that we remember their story, their strength, and their magic. It's a call for justice, healing, and transformation. Again, fire is a purifier and a message. We have had enough. So when you see this fire, we gotta listen to the pain. I mean, it's speaking everything. It's engulfed. It took 10, I think they said, and don't quote me on this, it took 10 different fire truck stations to come and put this fire out. That's how mad they was. The ancestors are speaking through this flame. They reminding us that their spirits are alive. They watching and still fighting for recognition and respect, because we are still going through it, in a sense. And it's not about, oh, it's just a house. Look at the energy, though. Pay attention. If you want to connect to hoodoo, and I'm going to talk about this too, fire can destroy curses and negative energy. Did y'all know that? I usually save this stuff for my people on my Patreon, but I want you to know fire can destroy curses and negative energy. But it can also reveal hidden truths and cleanse old wounds too. This fire at Nottoway is a call to us to honor our ancestors, to do the work of healing and remembering. Them rootwork signs that Elijah carved, the herbs that Sarah used, the stories Aunt Lucy told, and the charms that old Joe forged, all these are part of the hoodoo tradition. They remind us that even in the darkest of times, our ancestors found ways to protect, resist, and survive. Cause why? That is why hoodoo is here, y'all. It came out of a form of desperation. I'm gonna keep saying that. They wanted to live, and this is their way of living, surviving. So we're gonna go into this, y'all. So today, if you feel inclined to, I'm asking y'all to light a white candle or burn some sage for the ancestors of Nottoway Plantation, for Sarah, for Elijah, for Aunt Lucy, for old Joe, and all the souls whose histories and whose stories were never told, but whose spirits still remain strong. Say a prayer, do a little root work, or just hold them in your heart, because send them love and healing, y'all. Healing energy, because when we honor our ancestors, even though they're not your blood ancestors, but this here is a part of our walk. If you most of the time are melanated, you probably had somebody in your bloodline that was a slave. Because when you honor them, I'm keeping it real, we keep their magic alive and we strengthen our own. Okay? If you want to learn more about hoodoo, ancestral magic, and how to connect with the spirits of the land, I want you guys to go and join my Patreon. Free members or VIP members, whichever one you choose. Either way it goes, you're going to get and gain some knowledge. Okay? You can also make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you guys can know when I upload any stories. Drop your prayers, drop your comments, drop your stories or thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear from y'all. I want to know what y'all think about this. What y'all think about it? The stories. Go do your own research. Go read it for yourself. There was no way I wasn't going to talk about this one. And I want y'all to know too, this page is not dedicated straight to spirituality, the occult. This page is a variety page, and if I feel like talking about it, I do. If I feel like doing it, I will. If I feel like talking about food, I don't know. But it's a variety page full of things that everybody will attune to. I don't cater to one box, okay? But y'all, I am signing off with love, respect, and that southern soul magic that I got. Carolinas, baby. Stay safe, stay blessed, and keep that fire, your spirit ancestors, your spiritual ancestors burning. Burning bright, baby. Because they need it. Because they need it. Y'all have an amazing day. I hope y'all enjoyed this one. All right, bye.